So what's been happening in the Greater Moncton real estate market? Well, in the next few minutes, I hope to answer that for you. The quick version is not really the same as we're seeing in most of the rest of the country, in some ways anyway. Has the frenzy of multiple offers and bidding wars and sold way over asking slowed down? Yes, it's slowed down quite a bit actually. Not to say we're not seeing any multiple offers, we still are in certain cases. And where I'm seeing this the most with my clients is in the $200,000 or less price range. That category is still white hot. Just a few weeks ago, I showed a home listed for $145,000. In the span of a weekend, that home had almost 70 showings and the seller received 28 offers. It ended up selling for $40,000 over the asking price. That, however, is becoming more of the exception than the rule compared to just a short year ago when it seemed to be more of the rule rather than the exception. Outside of that, let me address a question that I'm being asked daily. It comes in different forms, but at its core, it's, are prices going to drop? Everyone has their opinion on this, and they vary widely. You could certainly go right now and easily find, some clickbait links encouraging you to read or watch about an impending crash. And while some markets undoubtedly are feeling the pressure of record inflation and the interest rate hikes trying to curb that inflation, I just don't see it happening to the same extent in our market here. In RE/MAX's 2022 Fall Canadian Housing Market Outlook, they actually predict Moncton to be among a handful of cities in Canada where prices will rise through the end of the year by approximately 6%, second only to St. John's, Newfoundland at 7%. If you want to check it out, I'll put a link to the report below. We're in a unique position here in the Greater Moncton area and New Brunswick in general, where real estate is still, even with the increases in prices in the last 2 years, among the most affordable real estate in the country. So that, along with the quieter lifestyle, is a huge driving force in attracting out-of-province buyers and immigration. And as I see it, even though becoming more balanced, I think demand will continue to outweigh supply in our area for at least the foreseeable future. I will say that the waves of out-of-province buyers have slowed and will likely continue to slow. 6 months ago, they were listing their homes and selling within days, if not hours, at prices we can't even fathom here in the Maritimes, making their moves quick, easy, and with big financial gain. That scenario is changing. Homes in those markets are now sitting for a while and taking longer to sell. In many of those markets, prices have dropped substantially, making it less appealing for some homeowners in those situations. Now, as far as rising interest rates go, in my July update, I had not yet experienced any effect at the client level. That's starting to change. I can't say that I've had clients completely change their minds and not continue in their buying journey, but after a 6th increase in a row, I believe it is, I have had some clients make adjustments to their price range in order to stay within their budgets. Buyers are being more savvy, often trying to find something that's in the range of 70 to 80% of their pre-approved amount. All right, let's take a look at a few stats, courtesy of the Greater Moncton Realtors You Get On Moncton. My last market update was in July, so we'll look at numbers from August to October. In the detached home category, the average prices were $323,568 in August, $346,349 in September, and $310,140 in October. That brings the year-to-date average to $353,474. So even though the average price has dropped each month over the previous since April, with the exception of September, we're still well above the end of year average for 2021, which was $289,123. In the semi-detached category, the average prices continue to remain over the 300,000 mark, with August coming in at 306,309 and September at 329,344 before dropping to 311,145 in October. The end of year average price for 2021 was just a little over 264,000. So here again, we're still well above last year's prices. When we combine both detached and semi-detached homes, the average price comes in at $316,244 in August, $342,460 in September, and $310,277 in October. So if you're a buyer on the fence about whether or not you should wait, everyone's situation is different, and I'm not the one who can tell you with complete certainty what you should do. But what I can tell you is that trying to time the market is nearly impossible. I see much more value in acquiring real estate as soon as possible over trying to buy when prices are on the decline. Think about if that was you in December of last year and you were convinced prices would fall, crash even. There's no way these prices will last. I'm going to wait. Well, the average price of a detached home then was over $64,000 less than it is today. So think about the equity you could be building already just by having made the move last year. And what will the value be in another 9 months from now? Who knows? It absolutely could depreciate, but overall, keep in mind that real estate is a long game, and the probability that the value of your property will appreciate over a long period of time is much more likely than it is to depreciate. If you're a seller, you're still in a very good position to sell, but you'll need to put in a little more effort than you would have, say, a year ago. I did a video on mistakes to avoid when selling that you can watch right here. Even though inventory has grown, we're still in what I would call a seller's market, but we do seem to be headed towards a more balanced market, meaning a market that doesn't favor sellers nor buyers. With that said, one of the keys to the successful sale of your house will be proper pricing, which can be easier said than done in this kind of transitioning market. The most common way of coming up with a value when listing a home is by seeing what has sold recently in the area that is comparable. Unfortunately, we only get access to actual sold prices when the sale has closed. The problem with that is that those prices were negotiated 3 months ago. That was a different market than today. What would be more helpful is having access to sale prices once all conditions of an offer have been met, but the sale hasn't closed yet. That information would be more accurate since negotiations would have taken place in a market closer to the current one. And the proof to the challenges of proper pricing is on the MLS or on REALTOR.ca. Out of approximately 1,000 properties currently listed in the area covered by the Greater Moncton Real Estate Board at the time of recording this video, over 40% have had price decreases, just under 44% actually. The only reason I can think of for sellers to reduce their price is because of lack of activity. Makes sense, right? And if you want activity, or in other words, attract buyers, the price has to be attractive or at least appropriate. So if I have one word of advice for sellers, it's to be realistic about the current market and price your property so that your listing doesn't go stale, because stale listings create a whole other set of challenges. So that's how I see things at the moment. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you have any questions or would like to talk more about the market, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to chat. You can find my contact info below.